Hey guys, welcome back to United Talk. We're on our second episode, and it has been a tumultuous week for Manchester United, and we'll be covering all of it in today's podcast. We'll be starting off with the league game versus Chelsea, which we had last Sunday, and well, that was a hard clincher. What are your thoughts about it, Annie?
Hey guys. Well, firstly, I thought it was an incredible game of football. It was played at breakneck speed for the full 90 minutes, incident after incident, and some of the quality on show was breathtaking. Of course, we started very strongly. Interestingly,
Yep.
Sir Alex ditching the diamond and putting his faith in the wingmen. We
Finally.
got out of the blocks very quickly. Van Persie likes to score at Stamford Bridge, and he did it again. First goal, own goal, David Luiz slightly unlucky. But credit to Chelsea, they fought back into the game, and I thought at 2-2 the game could have gone either way. However, once
Indeed.
Ivanovic goes off, the game is ours to win, and Fergie clearly thought so. He threw Chicharito on to get the
Right
winner,
after-
and that's what he does. And he loves playing against Chelsea, that boy.
Annie, first question, Ivanovic, red card or not?
I think it's definitely a red card. Yeah.
Yep, that looked that way to me as well. Last man challenge, stopped a
Yeah, it was a
a clear
red
goal
card, I felt,
chance.
yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't too hard for the referee. However, the next red card,
Yeah.
that's been hotly debated. What do you think? Torres already on a yellow. Johnny Evans slides in.
Yeah.
Another yellow for Torres.
I think Torres is very unlucky. Johnny Evans, you can see from his reaction, he was expecting a card for him, and
Exactly, and could have been a red as well.
yeah,
'cause
he was scared because
close.
he thought he was going to be sent off, and I don't know what he must be thinking when he sees a card going to Torres, but Torres is just absolutely amazed, and he's very unlucky. Should have got a free kick, Johnny, or because there's enough contact for him to legitimately go down, and if the ref doesn't want to give a free kick, that's fine, but to give a yellow card for diving, I'm not so sure.
Especially once Torres was on a yellow, exactly.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it was
a big,
too
big
hard.
call, and I don't think he was in the right position to make that call.
And then, of course, Chicharito scored. How offside was he?
Well, a lot of people blaming Mark Clattenburg for that. It was not his fault at all. Of course, it's the linesman that needs to see that, and it was very difficult to see because there were three Chelsea players around Chicharito.
Exactly,
He's coming back from an offside position when he actually scores the goal. He's onside, and Czech is there in the way as well. So it's a very difficult call for the linesman to make. Chicharito's always hanging around in that grey area, and he knew he was offside. He looked straight away at the linesman after he scored and saw that the flag hadn't gone up and celebrated. So
Good for him, but I'll have to disagree with you, Annie. I think Chicharito was quite clearly offside when he actually got the touch to the ball that sent the ball in.
no, what
However,
happened was that when Rafael hit the shot, which is when it matters, Chicharito was offside. But when it
Yep.
came off his shin, he was onside. So in a split second, the linesman
Yeah,
had
it's
to make a
difficult to
call
judge.
because Rafael smashed the ball across. So I don't know, Chelsea unlucky again.
difficult for the linesman, yeah, and plus with all the bodies flailing around in the box,
Yeah.
Yep. All right, well then, give me your top three players, Annie.
I would have to say, first of all, Robin Van Persie, I think the best forward in the league when playing alone. He is so good at
Definitely.
leading the line. Outstanding game again from him. He was the brightest spark in the first 20 minutes. And also, I'd like to give credit to Ashley Young. Coming back from 2 months out injured, playing the full 90 minutes in a game of that speed and that intensity. And he was involved in a lot of key incidents in the match. Obviously, the Ivanovic
Causing
red
lots
card,
of problems, yeah.
great run from him, cutting inside. And the first goal, it was him that sort of got the ball in a forward position, cutting in from the left,
Rooney, exactly, yeah.
released Rooney on the right, and led to the goal. So, him, and lastly, I think Rafael, who's been our best defender in the last 2 months, improved leaps and bounds.
definitely.
And I'm very happy with his progress. What
And
about
the way
what
he's
about you?
matured as well.
Pardon?
I'd agree with RVP, of course.
Yeah.
2 goals, an all-round threat.
Yeah.
I mean, the first goal was David Luiz's own goal, but, in another world, it would have been RVP's first.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I think that was good build-up play between RVP and the three playing behind him.
Yeah.
And I think he's been pretty consistent this season for Manchester United, and a good buy.
Yeah.
Now, for the second one, I was split between Wayne Rooney and David De Gea. Now, before you cut me down, let me tell you this about Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
For the first half, I think he might have been United's best player. I know RVP was all over,
Yeah.
and Rafael was bombing well,
Yeah.
but Rooney controlled the entire pitch.
Yeah.
it was his pass that led to the first goal.
Yeah.
And I think Rooney was more often than not defending and not attacking.
Yeah.
I mean, he's truly excelling in that free role behind the striker.
Yeah,
But that gives
I
him
agree.
an extra.
I think he had a very excellent match. The only sort of blot on his performance was the silly free kick that led to Mata's goal.
Very silly free kick.
Yeah.
That was petulance. That's what it
Yeah,
was.
and
I think Rooney,
I thought he's grown from that, and I hope that's just an exception to the rule.
I think maybe he was tired, angry at being booked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that leads to frustration, especially in such a high-profile match. And for my third one, I'll have to give it to De Gea then. I mean, I loved Rafael, but, some of the saves De Gea made,
True.
very unorthodox, by the way, using his legs when
True.
his hands were available.
True.
But the save he made from Fernando Torres' header, point-blank range, one-handed, push it away. Incredible.
Yeah, that was incredible, indeed. I totally agree with your top three as well. It was very hard for me to choose Rafael over De Gea. They had an outstanding game. Yeah.
As inconsistent as De Gea is with these kind of performances, it's difficult not to play him game in, game out.
Yeah.
All right, then let's have a look at what happened in the rest of the league. Well, we had Everton versus Liverpool that day as well. Another high-profile game, so to speak, the Merseyside derby.
Yeah, it kicked off Super Sunday on the blockbuster, and again, very interesting game.
Very, very interesting.
And Liverpool, on the whole, you would have to say unlucky. Winner being ruled out wrongly for an offside call.
Oh, very unlucky. And I think that was partly down to Suarez's general, his perception in the eyes of the referee and in the eyes of the linesman about how, he's an unfair player and all that.
Yeah.
But clearly onside when he scored, and I think the only way the goal could not have been given was if Coates had fouled that Everton defender, I think, was it? I don't remember. Anyway, only if Coates had fouled him. Otherwise, Suarez was clearly onside. And did you happen to notice, Annie, how long after Suarez had scored that the linesman raised his flag?
Yeah, Gerrard was on his knees, pointing to the heavens, and it was quite embarrassing.
And Suarez was halfway down the pitch when the linesman raised his flag. He didn't even see it at first.
Yeah, and of course there was obviously interesting, the longest Premier League match in history, City versus Swansea. What were your thoughts on that one?
12 minutes of extra time.
Yeah.
I mean, that is really something. All in all, a very drab match, I think.
Yeah.
Very few chances created from either side.
Yeah.
And, City won it as they were expected to. Carlos Tevez scored a great goal.
Yeah.
Great goal.
Yeah.
I think the only moment, of brilliance in an absolutely average match. Micah Richards getting injured, though. That's going to leave City a bit winded.
16 weeks out. Big blow.
That is a huge blow.
Yeah.
And, well, that's what happened at the rest of the league. Oh, also another thing, Arsenal beating QPR 1-0.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later, of course.
Yeah. And, of course, a lot of action in the rest of the leagues around Europe as well. What were your thoughts on the top leagues around Europe? Real and Barca, of course, winning again. Bayern suffering their first loss of the season. And the Marseille-Lyon match being called off.
Yep, Marseille-Lyon, I think that was a very, a big game in France. Lots of people were excited for it. Our good old friend Joey Barton's playing for Marseille now.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to seeing his reaction after the game. But we were unfortunate not to see that. However, that match has been called off.
Yeah.
And will be played at a later date. Meanwhile, Real and Barca are doing what they do best, which is beating mediocre La Liga teams 5-0.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi scored his 300 and 301st professional goals.
Incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Out of which 270 have been scored for Barcelona.
Incredible.
Incredible. What a player. And Ronaldo scored his 18th goal in 14 games this season. I mean, who to pick?
Yeah.
Who to pick for your best player of the year?
Yeah.
Also, Bayern Munich finally losing their perfect record in the Bundesliga, courtesy of a rather sorry own goal.
I think Dortmund, you have to give a lot of credit to them. They're a very good team.
Great team, yeah. I mean, they're in 4th place this season, but, they're steadily climbing.
Yeah.
And, they keep losing their best players year after year. They lost Nuri Sahin after they won their first Bundesliga, and they lost Shinji Kagawa.
Yeah.
But they've got a nice core nucleus of good players. They've got Weidenfeller in goal, who's a class player. Mario Götze, of course. Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Ilkay Gundogan. These guys are young, good players who I think will be, dominate in the Bundesliga. Assuming they stay at Dortmund, I think, for the next 10 years at least.
Yeah. And of course, back in England now, and midweek action in the Capital One Cup, we had another game versus Chelsea. and Chelsea
Yep.
taking that chance to extract some vengeance. What were your
And
thoughts
didn't
on
they
that
do
game?
it well? Didn't they do it well?
Yeah,
I think, Manchester United, it was a cup game, and, Sir Alex Ferguson put out a very cup side.
yeah,
You had Scott Wootton and Michael Keane,
yeah,
young, inexperienced defenders,
yeah.
playing in central defense with Butner, also rather inexperienced,
Hmm.
and Rafael flanking them. And I think Sir Alex went for a 4-3-3 with Nani Welbeck supporting Hernandez.
Yeah,
And, I wouldn't say the forward line didn't work out because it did.
yeah,
They scored 4 goals.
yeah,
Of course, 2 of them were scored by the greatest Manchester United player ever,
yeah,
our number 11, Ryan Giggs.
yeah,
What a quality player. Love him to bits.
yeah,
And, things started out well for United. I think I was pleasantly surprised to see Anderson playing very well.
yeah.
I thought he looked very assured on the ball.
Yeah, and he has this
And
ability to sort of drive forward and beat people in midfield and skip
he
past
has got
them.
good acceleration.
Yeah, exactly. And he's sort of deceptively quick over the first few yards. So I
Yep.
was really happy with his performance. I was very impressed with Chicharito, especially in the
Indeed.
closing stages of the game. He took the ball under pressure. He was able to hold off Luis, hold off Gale. He was able to get in the mix on the physical side of things, won us the penalty at the end as well. And of course, his goal, again, pure composure,
great goal.
pure class. He gets a chance,
I mean,
he will score.
the thing about Chicharito is some of the runs that he makes. I mean, he makes it so easy for his teammates to just play the ball in.
Yeah, yeah,
Because Chicharito will be making those runs 10, 12, 15 times a game. It doesn't matter how many times he gets caught offside or how many times the ball doesn't arrive.
yeah,
He'll be making that run every chance he gets.
yeah,
I was also very impressed with the little dynamic that United had on the right side of midfield, particularly in the first half. It was Nani, Anderson, and Rafael linking up, playing some nice one-touch football, making runs behind the defense. I thought it was very, very,
yeah. True.
that's how teamwork should
And
be. And I thought,
what were your thoughts on the way we sort of lost the game and conceded the equalizer?
well, we did score first.
Yeah,
We did score first, and then of course Victor Moses, I think Chelsea's best player of the game.
yeah, I agree.
Victor Moses, skipped past Butner, got fouled, and David Lee scored the penalty, but then Chicharito equalized again. It was such a ping-pong game.
Yeah.
United score and Chelsea equalized again and again and again.
Yeah,
But if you look at the overall strength of the two teams, I think Chelsea had a stronger team out, of course.
yeah, definitely. They were playing so many first teamers and subbed so many of them on later on. as well.
Exactly. Eden Hazard,
Yeah.
Oscar, and these guys are like stars.
Yeah, and Mata
These guys
started
are
the game,
good.
and then Ramirez came on at half time, so that
And plus
Czech playing as
Douglas
well.
and Gary
Luis
Cahill.
and Gale is their first choice pairing right now because Terry's
Exactly.
suspended. So.
I think when you compare that to Manchester United's, Manchester United's cup side, which are young, inexperienced players,
Yeah,
or first teamers who just haven't gotten enough action, like Nani.
yeah, yeah,
And you see that despite the fact that United ended up losing the game 5-4 in extra time,
Yeah.
I think United should be proud of the way they played.
yeah. I agree.
I mean, just
And
I mean,
the
feel the weaker team on paper.
the mistakes I think the defenders made. I mean, they're very young. They're going to learn from it, and it's only going to help them sort of this experience.
Well, here's where I'll have to disagree with you, Annie. I thought Michael Keane was decent enough, but Scott Wooten, I mean, the guy's 21. And I know 21 is a young age,
Yeah.
but not in today's game. Not in today's game when you have guys like Chris Smalling,
Mm-hmm.
Phil Jones. Both of them are younger than him.
Yeah.
Both of them have already have top-flight experience.
Yeah.
If Scott Wooten is older than them and can't play better than them, how do they expect to break into the first team? I mean, players won't remain injured forever,
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, but I also think that different players have different sort of ways in which they grow. Some players start off very quickly. Their career projection is very fast, instantly. Like Rooney, for example, he hit the ground running at the age of 16. Some players develop very late. For example, Diego Forlan only hit the best part of his career towards the end. So you can't really say whether Scott Wooten can still make it or he can't make it. He had a couple of glaring errors yesterday, no doubt.
Well, I mean, I think glaring is a weak word. I think he gave away the penalty, a horrible back pass that led to Sturridge scoring, and I think, he needs to buck up his game and fast, because football's a competitive game. You only get one chance to show what you're made of,
Yeah.
and Scott Wooten did not. I thought Michael Keane had a far better game.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
So United
with
did
him, actually,
concede 5.
Yeah.
And, yes, I think United lost the game, but I think they should be proud of the way they played.
Yeah.
And of particular concern to me was Sir Alex's comments after the game where he criticized Nani.
Yeah.
I didn't get that. I mean, I know Nani's inconsistent, and I
Yeah.
know he has been inconsistent.
No,
this
I think it
season.
was sort of the mistake of decision making. We tried to beat a player in the 93rd minute.
Yes, of
Well,
course, of course, of course.
yeah,
But the thing is, I don't think Nani had a bad game. I mean, of course, he made a couple of glaring errors, but which United player in that game didn't?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, you can't even name a single player in that game who actually had a perfect, no-error game.
yeah.
With the team losing 5-4,
Hmm.
a lot of people have made mistakes, and to single out one player,
Yeah, but I'm not
I
sure
think it's a bit
whether
harsh.
I'm not sure the reason Ferguson's done that, whether it's to protect the younger players, because obviously he has to blame it on someone. The press are
Yeah,
asking some questions, and he doesn't want to blame it on the younger players to destroy their
that's a
confidence.
good point. That's a good point. I think the press would have easily eaten them up alive
Yeah,
if Fergie hadn't placed the blame on someone else. Now here's seeing how Nani's going to react to that
yeah,
in the coming days.
it's very interesting. Yeah, and
And
he took his goal very well.
very,
Great
very
finish,
well.
yeah, and
That dynamic I was talking about on the right, it was Nani and Anderson linking up for
yeah,
the 1-2,
true,
then Nani clips it. Very nice.
true. So who were your top three players from that game then?
Top three players, Chicharito, obviously I thought he was fantastic all game long, worked as hard as he does,
Yeah,
and great runs. He took his finish very well.
yeah,
Ryan Giggs put in a performance that, people keep using the word, it rolled back the years, and, all these things, but it isn't an exaggeration. I mean, if you look at Ryan Giggs playing today, he has just matured so well.
he's an example.
He's changed his game to adapt to the,
Yeah.
the modern game, and he's done it so well.
Yeah.
And I'd have to say Anderson. I think he really impressed me. I've been so critical of Anderson
Yeah.
for a long time.
Yeah.
He hasn't progressed well. He can't pass. But I think he did all those things and more
Yeah.
against Chelsea. And against a strong midfield that he was playing against. There was John Obi Mikel.
Yeah.
Ramirez came on. And still Anderson was able to exert his influence.
True.
I was very impressed.
True.
How about you, Andy? Top three?
Absolutely the same. Chicharito, Giggs, and Anderson. We've discussed Chicharito and Anderson quite a bit. I just thought for Giggs, play 120 minutes. He's turning 39 next month. This month, actually, November. And just an incredible performance. Two very calmly taken goals. And he's been below par this season, I felt, Giggs, in the games that he's played in the league. And
come on. Below par for a 39-year-old?
I know it's harsh, but it's only because it's Giggs and the standards he set himself. I know they're very high as it is. And so I hope he can just kick on from now and really play the level we expect from him every week.
That's good. That's great. All right, then. We had another Capital One game, of course. Reading versus Arsenal.
Yeah.
What a match.
Indeed. Incredible.
12 goals.
It was like a PlayStation FIFA game. Unbelievable stuff.
It was like a football manager game. You just don't see those in real life.
Yeah,
Reading
and
4-0 up in the first half.
yeah, and Reading, I thought if they would have gone in at 4-0, maybe they're able to hold on and win the game. That goal just before halftime has killed them.
As a great goal as well, Theo Walcott.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, still hasn't signed his contract. Wenger wants him, but, they're having troubles keeping him there.
Yeah.
I think Theo Walcott's developed very well. I think playing as a false nine.
Yeah.
He's perfectly two-footed, a bit inconsistent, but he's got pace.
Yeah.
And, I think he played very well against Reading.
Yeah, he's improved a lot. He's got a very calm finish in front of goal. That's something that's underrated about him. And,
Indeed. Instead of playing him on the wing, playing him as a striker would make more sense.
Yeah, that's his whole grief with Wenger, of course. He wants to be given a chance in the middle. He feels that he's done his time on the wing, so to speak. And, I mean, can you argue with that? I would say that, of course, Giroud he's done pretty decently for coming in as a new player. He's got a good presence about him. But also likes to play on the left, and Walcott could be a second option for Arsenal down the centre. I don't understand why he's not given a chance.
I'd have to agree with you as well. I think Walcott was great against Reading, and whenever he's played in the false nine this season, I think he's been very effective.
Yeah.
And plus, Walcott's pace really troubles central defenders, because central defenders as a breed aren't exactly the paciest guys.
Yeah, true. Well,
so,
the Reading versus Arsenal game, the Chelsea versus United game also sort of touched on this larger theme which we want to discuss in this show. Which
our
is
special feature, yes.
Which is the death of defending in today's game. Is it this season or is it the last 5 years? What do you think?
I think it's been going on for more than the last 5 years. I think when was the last time you saw an absolutely world-class defender? I'll tell you when was the last time I saw one. Paolo Maldini.
Yeah.
And not Maldini of 2000, Maldini of the 90s.
Yeah.
When he was absolutely dominating for AC Milan and Italy.
Yeah.
when his dad was coaching Italy and when Maldini was playing at left back.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the last time I've seen an absolute
But I
class.
would have to disagree. I think Fabio Cannavaro a few years back was the last hurrah for defense.
I don't, I mean, Cannavaro is a great player, don't get me wrong. An absolute beast of a player, and for such a short guy to play in central defense takes courage.
Yeah.
But I think Cannavaro was more about, aggression and more about heart than about technical defensive skills. Whereas I think Maldini had
I agree with you on that.
defensive
Definitely.
instinct.
Yeah.
Intercepting passes, timing challenges.
Yeah.
You just don't get that nowadays.
Yeah, I remember a few years back the season we played, I think Milan in the semis, and they knocked us out. I remember they played Bayern in the quarterfinals, and they went and won 2-0 in Germany. And Ferguson after the game, he said Maldini is still a problem because he played the entire game and he didn't get his shots dirty because his timing and interception was just correct, spot on.
And how old was he then? 36, 37?
Yeah.
Incredible. Maldini, I think that whole, the 94 Milan batch.
Yeah.
Franco Baresi.
Franco Baresi, yeah.
And, the Capello side.
Yeah.
I think that was the last great defensive line. I think since then, of course, the game has evolved.
Yeah.
The players have evolved. Now it's much more faster. Now, and because of that, defenders now have to rely on, physicality.
Yeah.
More so than, technical skills like
True.
tackling, timing challenges,
True.
deciding whether to slide or stay on your feet.
Yeah. It's very difficult now. If I had to ask you to count the number of top defenders in the world today, how many would you be able to count? It's
Off the top of my head, Gerard Piqué, I think is a hurrah to the old days.
Yeah.
I think he's a very classy defender. He's got good
but he's had such a bad season last season. He's been so
inconsistent.
poor.
I'd have to give you that, of course.
Yeah.
Inconsistent. I'd also say, Mats Hummels.
Yeah.
Have you seen him play for Borussia Dortmund?
Yeah.
Also very classy, relatively fast for a centre back as well.
Yeah.
He's good jumping. He's got good tackling, more or less.
Yeah.
And I can literally count on one hand the number of class defenders we have now.
True.
And it was so much better 10, 15 years ago. Jaap Stam.
Yeah.
Paolo
Maldini,
Maldini, Alessandro
Nesta was a top defender as well.
These guys are class defenders.
Yeah.
These guys, with these guys playing, you'd expect a clean sheet, and you'd be sorry if you didn't get one.
Yeah. But it's also
But
interesting,
now,
because we're talking about defending, and of course it's only a few years ago that United went on that incredible run of 14 clean sheets and
With Edwin van der Sar guarding the goal, yes.
Yeah, and I think Vidic had an outstanding season then as well,
And Johnny Evans right next to him.
Yeah.
People forget that.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand was out for most of those games.
Yeah.
Johnny Evans stepped up.
So, but I mean,
good.
this year though, the league has been incredible in terms of attacking football. Man City have struggled to keep a clean sheet. Chelsea have been leaking goals for fun. United, of course, conceding in every game and then mounting challenges back and coming back.
Leaking goals by the bucket load.
Yeah, and this is for England, for English football in general. They are going to struggle in Europe if they concede to league goals.
Of course, and I think so much emphasis is placed on attacking football that people forget that defending is half the game.
Yeah.
And if you don't clean up at the back, it doesn't matter how many you score at the front. You're going to end up losing.
True.
So that's the sad thing about the modern game.
Yeah.
The death of defending.
And of course, talking about defending and goalkeepers leads to our player salute of the week. Aaron, would you like to do that?
I would love to do that. Our player salute of this week is Rogerio Ceni, the 39-year-old Sao Paulo goalkeeper. An absolute class player who spent 20 years playing for his boyhood club.
Incredible.
When you see players switching clubs by the month,
Yeah.
and then you see players like Rogerio Ceni, he is the definition of a one-club man, and he is the definition of a goal-scoring goalkeeper.
The only one that ever was.
105 goals scored. I mean, most strikers don't score that many in their entire
Has
career.
Emil Heskey scored that many?
I highly doubt it. Well, of course, now he's playing in Australia, so, good luck to him.
Lastly, guys, a bit of promotion. Please follow us on Twitter at The United Talk. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel on YouTube.
Yep.
Thanks to everyone who watched our first episode, and see you guys next week.
All right, see you guys next week then. Bye-bye.
Bye.